the hell just happened?
All right, welcome
It sounded
everyone.
like you dropped a very small piano.
Welcome everyone to our Thursday night D&D session. We're following a team of adventurers and diplomats, even emissaries, if you will, known as the Blessed, because they have been chosen by certain deities. They are in this homebrew world attempting to save it from an unspeakable evil, and and to do that they are gathering allies by going around to these city states and recruiting them to their cause to fight this rogue city state, and their adventures have taken them to the magical city of Odessa, so pictured on the map, but it is about it's pretty much in the smack dab middle of the continent, sitting on the middle of a giant lake. And it's a magical city because it has a high sort of portion of mages of all stripes that live there and the surrounding areas. But those that wield arcane magics, notably sorcerers and wizards, are held in highest regard. Clerics are viewed as lesser magic users because they rely on a deity to provide them their magic, and druids are treated like you would a redneck or a hillbilly. But last session, the Blessed were exploring the city. It was revealed that some party members had some connections here in their previous in their in their younger years, and they visited a church, and they bought some magic items. They interacted with a sentient cat. It was very interesting in a Wand of Wonder, and they were able to barter with him magic items for the Wand of Wonder. But they also met an NPC who asked for their assistance in a certain matter, but he did not elaborate, but he gave them the address where they might find him. And the party members that were familiar with the city recognized the address as one belonging to a noble household. And I think that's pretty much everything that you guys did last session. Correct me if I'm wrong, or if there's something you'd like to add. You can do that now.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did we the incident in the little tower thing preceding entry to Odessa?
That did happen.
The whole chest
Oh,
hole
right.
incident.
That was pretty rough, yeah, and the whole surgery.
Oh, that is true. Yes. One of the party members, a wizard cleric multiclass who likes to read and likes knowledge and likes the arcane and the occult. He was part of the party when they happened. He was with the party when they happened upon a curious artifact in the deep dark of this world, and he kept it. And it turns out that this item had been corrupted by tentacled horrors, and they was serving as a conduit for them into this world. And because he kept it on his person, it eventually bored its way into him, so that they might spread their influence into this world. And the party had to deal with that. And it involved just yanking it out. It's brute force method. But he was relatively unscathed once they did some checks and cast some magic on him. But he is maybe mentally scarred.
A little bit.
Cure wounds can't cure, horrors of the mind. Yes. Oh, also on your way into Odessa, there's a sort of test that they give to all those the visiting people to Odessa who are not natives there. You take a test where they gauge your magical ability and they assign you a pin or a rank based on that. Steel for no magic ability, bronze for a little bit, silver for mid lane, gold for great, and platinum for premium mage. I don't think anyone got platinum,
No.
but there was someone who was very close, but for his level in cleric, which was, like I said, stated previously, is looked down upon in the city, so it was marked against him. But still, gold is still very respectable. And I believe that's it for the recap. Let's get started. You guys have just exited. And let me get the name right, because Barnabas and Quimbly's Majestic Emporium of Mystical Magic, which is at the magic store, where you guys bought or traded all those magic items for the Wand of Wonder, and bought some inks and spell scrolls as well. But you had just exited that. You stepped onto the cobbled streets of the city. It is still probably around 11, so not quite midday. So the rest of the day is open to you. I'll let you go as you will.
I'd like to retcon something. If this is what the city looks like, then Slizik would be far more impressed. And
It's literally built on a lake. It's a floating city on a lake.
Yeah, he hasn't really encountered this before, I don't think.
Luckily, it's fresh water, so your itch, so to speak, isn't affecting you too drastically.
Ugh.
Alright, so what is our other plans here?
Well, I say we respond to their summons.
Yeah, it might be a good way to start.
Indeed.
What was the house again?
The house was the Lancasters. I can type that in.
Did we get a paper or something that was our summons?
Well, he gave us essentially just
An address.
he gave us something an address to go to. I don't know. It's not like you have
It
been
was an
summoned by the
invitation, a
Lancasters.
spoken
Present.
invitation.
Okay.
Because it wasn't anything formal, like a letter addressed to you.
And these families kind of rule the city, like as a council, basically.
Yeah, they're like, it's an oligarchy, and
Okay.
these 5 noble families, of which the Lancasters are one, rule. And
And he had a bronze star.
he has silver, which is strange. These families, and Aja would know this, and so would Alistair. These families are the top dogs because Odessa is also a meritocracy, which means that depending on your magical ability is how well placed you are in society. So these houses are almost exclusively golds and platinums.
He's the black sheep. The silver sheep.
Mhm.
Well, I suppose if we don't have any more prep, let's go talk to these folks. One of you two, Alistair, Aja, lead the way, I guess, because I have no idea.
Yes, it's right through here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wait.
right there.
Oh, would you look at that?
Never take the floating gondolas. They're for tourists.
It must be so very simple to get there.
I mean, there's a variety of magical and mundane contraptions to ferry, people and goods throughout the city. Of course, the mages would just fly, usually.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what is what's the presence of magical stuff going on? Do you know what I mean? Are there fucking elevators?
So you are in the least magic tier, so to speak. Because I said I believe I explained it's like the
bronze tier.
juicy center of a Tootsie Roll Pop
Juicy center.
is where the most magic is concentrated. So that's where basically the seat of government is in the very center, and around this the noble family is where they live. And then it progresses in less and less magical ability from there. And so you're in the sort of slum/trade place. So there might be more magic stuff, like wonders. The more you get into the city, the deeper you get. But here it appears to be no different in the terms of magic items, their prevalence than other cities you've been in.
Okay.
Can always take a Tenz's floating disc rickshaw. That seems to be the best way to get around in lower.
Wait, those exist?
Indeed,
Oh,
they
yeah,
are.
oh,
They
yes.
are. They are. There are those. There are other such things as well. They have sort of carts pulled by magical beasts as well. Maybe summoned creatures, elementals or woodland creatures as well. Not your stereotypical horse.
Yes,
And oh, go ahead.
I was gonna. The lower tiers tend to have your magical summons that pull you around this way and that, and then as you go up higher and higher, they might, some people enterprising to say like, well, I'll just give myself a little bit of a speed boost or pay someone else to do so. You can, and double stack some haste, expeditious retreat, long strider, and so forth, and just get there on your own feet. Or if you're really well off, well, you can just teleport.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that's even close to being able to do that.
Yeah, we're super poor. We're taking the fucking Shoelace Express.
You could just take a floating disc rickshaw.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
As long as someone else can do that, because I don't think I can.
No, well, I mean, do you pay someone to do that for you? I mean, they cast the spell and then they go. You
Or
just
people
sit your butt down on the floating disc.
So what? Do we just cast sending out into the ether and then a rickshaw comes to us?
You hail a person like you just wave your go in the street. You wave your hand.
I'm just
someone
gonna
comes up
whistle
there.
and draw one over to us.
Yes.
just
How'd you
to
know?
There's a
You get the
person.
idea.
Now,
forego
of
the
course,
explanation.
these rickshaws usually handle only 2 people. Not so you'll need to flag down multiple ones, of course.
I'll need
Well,
my own.
I'm gonna flag down one and just jump on it, just to
All
get
right.
away from
And
Alistair's long-winded
For
explanation.
some reason,
really-
I just picture someone with a like a stone tablet in their hand, just tapping it with like magic,
Their
like
scroll.
prestidigitation. Just-
Well-
I'll try and get one for myself because I'll probably need one for myself.
We
All
don't
right.
we don't know where this place is, do we? So
I do.
Well, you have the address, but you don't. For those not familiar with the city, you don't know where exactly it is. You just have the.
I mean, we could race there.
I would know like kind of like at least I would know the way to navigate to this place even if I haven't been there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I would even say because of your past as an esteemed professor, you might have even had house calls or home tutoring to some of these prestigious families. So you might even know some shortcuts to these areas. If you do choose to flag down a rickshaw or other magical contraption to ferry you to the noble sort of area, those of silver and above can get one with relative ease. But those
oh wow.
bronze or less, it takes considerably longer for a taxi or to stop for you. And when you tell him the address or tell them the address, they look at you incredulously, like, "Are you really planning on going there?"
Well, of course. Business is business.
They shrug and say, "Oh, I'm not responsible for anything that happens to you once you get off the cart," and they just take you on your way.
Would I
That's-
know? Would I know anything about this family? Or is this like a more recent development?
You would know
Certainly any.
You can give me a history check if you want, but you
Okay.
can, base knowledge, you would know that they are, of course, one of the ruling families of Odessa, and that's very potent in their magical ability. And you would also know that they primarily they are famed for their use of fire magic.
I got 21.
That's
Okay, so you know 21, you know that recently they've been less and less active. Even during your time, you've been away from the city for a long time. Some 5 years, 10 years? How long have you been away?
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But even during your time in Odessa, their presence, their impact on the city has declined over the years. They've sort of withdrawn into themselves, and so you didn't. They're not exactly recluses, but they've stepped back from a lot of social functions and stuff like that.
All right. I'll like to say the other. I believe he's exaggerating a little bit. Leisure to be safe.
I sure hope so.
They're a bunch of fuckers.
All right.
Aja doesn't seem to like this city much. Perhaps you
What
can
was-
ask her about
Yeah.
that. I mean, do
Don't
you
we
want to
know?
race, or do you want to just run, so to speak, side by side and just have a
Whether or not
conversation?
anyone else wants to race, I race.
All right.
I thought we were on, like, we're being pulled by people?
Yeah, so you can have 2 people per
Mush!
rickshaw, because the tensor's floating disc, I'm going to modify it slightly. And a rickshaw, of course, is usually for 2 people. So you can get 2 people on this disc at a time. And Aja already said she went on one by herself, and so she sort of has a head start on you guys. But, I mean, the rest of you can have a conversation while you're on your way over. Or Aja can ask her driver to slow down so it can keep pace with you.
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
nope, she's just going straight on. All right. The rest of you, though, of course, if you're racing, then
I'm racing.
all right.
A single player race.
I'm just hanging.
It's a single man race, which means you'll always win. So.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
Slizzing.
except for the time you don't, and then your self-esteem tanks.
I
Mush!
believe you were the only bronze
Sure am.
ranked visitor to the city. So whereas people of silver and gold can just whistle or maybe wait less than a minute, you gotta wait for maybe 2 to 3 before one pulls up for you. And this disc is not a perfect disc. It is misshapen, like a kidney bean.
Oh
man.
no! It's like those group taxis.
It is thinner in parts and thicker in others. It's not uniform. It's lumpy.
Hey guy, are you good? Is this good to go?
Oh yeah.
How does this? Isn't this magic? How did this even happen?
Don't you question yourself. Now, bros, like, you don't need to worry about nothing.
Okay.
For some reason, I was like picturing like those group taxis, like those taxis where every single person is just sharing a taxi, and they're having to stop at every stop until they get there.
I'm imagining the chicken truck, where you're sitting in the back of a truck with chickens in it. That's what I'm imagining.
Or pigs, yeah.
He's got a
farm animals.
It's like everyone gets there to a destination, but Slizik and we're just standing there and just looking at the time. It's just like, where is he?
This one in which you get on is noticeably slower than the other ones. You are seeing the other ones just whizzing by you.
Thought it was for
twice
speed,
the
the weird
speed.
shape. Can I scrape like a racing stripe in it?
It is. You can try. Give me a what would this be? Give me an Arcana check to figure out if you can.
Okay.
Ooh, boy.
Okay, just out of curiosity, like how like ill sized, like is the disc like too small? Like how
He can
Oh,
fit on
boy.
it.
undersized the disc is? Okay,
He can
he
fit on it. So
fit
it's not a perfect like circle.
Okay,
So he can still fit on it. But it's more like a kidney bean shape. He can still fit, but it's he's gonna be careful how he moves, otherwise he'll fall on. Especially since he's also very
You gotta-
large as well.
You really
Um,
got to reevaluate your shit, bud.
You can make the barest scratch on the disc, but it fades quickly.
Damn it. Well, must sure go or whatever.
just
Yeah,
remold
go
the-
as fast as I can. Settle
On the way.
down. You'll
just
get there in
remold the disc
time.
with your bare hands. You'll be fine.
Take in the sights of the city. He's going at a walking pace.
God damn it. You know what? You get in the back. I'll pull this fucking thing.
It doesn't work like that, man.
Get out! Move!
Bronze like
Race.
you wouldn't know. It don't work like that. It moves.
That does now.
Oh,
man.
Can I intimidate him?
All right, you can intimidate him to
Get into his own rickshaw.
You are
What I
getting-
paid for.
and you pull. You can.
You are getting arrested later.
All right, he will definitely climb in back and allow you to pull in quotes. He says, "You're still paying,"
This is how you do it.
and it does not go any faster.
Why?
What? I charge! I use my sweet legs and run.
It is not attached to
I'm gonna-
anything. It's just floating behind him.
God damn it! I have a
He has to be close
very
to it.
poor.
You don't know how the spell works, so you don't know.
Oh shit!
It's
Get on my
not.
shoulders.
It is not attached by
I'm gonna-
reins or anything. It's a free floating free. It's like it's
Son of a bitch.
disc. If you knew the spell, or he has to be close to it, so it will still manifest. But other than that, he controls how fast it goes.
No.
Here's the description right here. I'll post it up right here so you can see it.
Oh god damn it. Well, I don't know what I do then, Nathan. I guess I just explain
You're just trying to pull the disc and shouting at it, but it's not moving any faster.
Okay, you know what? I've made a terrible mistake.
You would literally have to put him. No, you can do this. You just put him on your back and you run.
Get on, buddy. You're my backpack now. Welcome to Bobland.
You could just run yourself. What are you doing?
Alright, guys.
Is he
This is,
going like a walking pace? How fast does he go?
Okay, so give me no wait, you have 20 strength, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
no problem. You don't need an athletics check. You know, you pick up this guy. You go, oh, easy there.
Welcome to Shoulder Village, baby. Population view. Let's go.
This is you are the I dare say you are the strangest customer I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm a muscles wizard.
Never heard of it. Maybe
I'm a gold.
you'll make it popular.
What a great idea. My eyes go wide as I consider the possibility.
You just start sprinting. But do make an athletics check to see how fast you can go because you're unfamiliar with the
Oh.
city. You got a guy on your back who weighs probably
Fuck!
170
before you get
pounds. All right, so
Before you get a heart
you
attack.
break into a jog, but you don't go a run or a sprint. You're still trying to navigate corners, but you do note the disc is following behind you at a noticeably faster pace than it was before.
I go as fast as I can.
And you can just see Dax and Erlyn and Alistair like way off in the distance.
Damn it. I mean, if I can catch up, I'll push over their drivers.
You would need a higher athletics to catch up.
I looked to see. Like, are you carrying your driver?
Oh my god, he's the heaviest man on the planet. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is the city so busy? Wait! Oh, I'm the only one racing too, and I'm still losing. God damn
Yeah,
it.
they're just, leisurely on their rickshaws discussing, taking the city to
Okay.
the city.
This bit has gone way longer than I thought it would. Let's cut it off,
It's hilarious and I love it.
to be fair.
But you
I dropped the guy off at my destination.
He goes, thank you for the
Can I say that'll be
service.
10 gold, please?
No, we already agreed you'd pay me.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're
And
tipsy one.
it's just a few silver, so I'm not gonna have you mark it off or anything.
All right.
Unless you want
Oh,
to.
yeah, well, why not?
So yeah, it'll be 2 silver.
All right. Yep, that was fun.
And you guys do see that Aja has arrived, or it would have been like this. Aja arrives first, and then Alistair, Daksh, and Erlen. Do you guys want to discuss anything on your way over?
I'm just saying.
I'm just spouting off about like esoteric city knowledge and
Oh
like
god.
what this used to be and like we were back 300 years ago there was a siege.
Gentrification and
I don't mean to put it off anymore, but I guess I'll probably ask Haja, like, what's her deal with these people? Like, I guess I should do that in character. Haja, you don't seem to really like these, whatchamacallit, not castle, where are the roses? What the fuck is it?
Lancaster?
Lancaster. I don't really seem to like these folks that much. Is there any particular reason?
Well, I don't know them exactly, personally, but I did know. I used to go to Mage College, okay?
Sounds horrible. Oh,
And some of them went there, and, well, basically everyone in this town is a fucker.
okay.
Pretentious fucker.
Seems harsh.
Would I have heard that?
Almost certainly.
yeah, if I mean, since Slick was in the back, he had to catch up, and you were already there, so you would have heard what Aja said.
Aja, about when did you attend Magic University?
Is that what it's called?
You can make up a name if you want. I didn't name it.
I didn't say a Magic University. She didn't.
Yeah, there is not just one. There are multiple. There are also multiple Bard colleges as well.
Fair enough.
I think I left this city about 7 years ago.
Did you happen to remember your professors? Do you remember any professor that looked like me?
No.
Well, not as much.
Well, I would have recognized you.
Well, maybe not. It's worth a shot anyway. I'm sorry to hear about your bad time here. There's certainly an air of superiority, and certainly doesn't look too kindly upon those who don't have the same capabilities as others. They only seem to appreciate one skill set here.
It seems.
No doubt about that. It's their loss.
I don't know. It seems like when you make it so that there's one way to get to the top, there's people that'll abuse it, and people who would be treacherous. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be treacherous as shit.
Well, maybe, but that kind of treacherous thinking and in a wartime be turned into quite what's the word? Innovative, ingenuitous, sure. They could serve us well.
Ooh.
And that's the sort of place you're coming up on that they drop you off.
Interesting.
At.
So this is the college, but not the Bard
No,
college.
this is the estate. There are some differences. There's a gate, of course, and there are guards as well. And you notice the guards because they're clad in the sort of the livery of the Lancaster family, which use a lot of fire and flame motifs. But there are two of them, and they're at the gate, and they are arguing with the man that told you to come here. Tyrion was his name.
Is he a younger fella?
He looked to be about mid-20s when
Okay.
you met him. I mean, to you, humans are weird. You know,
Right.
because they live. I believe they lore or can raw. They live slightly longer than Dragonborn. So, but you would estimate him about mid-20s, so to speak.
Okay.
Can I try and like use my observant feat to try and read their lips?
Yes. Give me a perception.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
you're at an angle from them, you can't see everything, so you have to extrapolate and stuff like that.
24.
All right. So it seems, and so are you just standing still and observing, or are you walking towards them while observing?
Yeah, I think we're just like kind of very casually walking up.
All right. So you see them arguing. It looks like Tyrion is wanting to gain entrance. And these guards are saying that they don't recognize him. And they don't recognize him. He has no place here. He should have stayed. He should have not come back. And things like that. And they're obviously trying a number of excuses to not let him inside.
I'll just like greet him very cheerily. Ah, Tyrion!
Oh!
Good to see you.
Hello, emissaries of Stormhaven. And he stresses those words as he greets you and side eyes the guards.
Puff out my prestigious chest. Yes, a very urgent matters to discuss.
And the guards look flustered and they say, "Oh, Lord Lancaster did not inform us of any emissaries that we'd be visiting today." And then to that, Tyrion says that's because they're not here to see Lord Lancaster. They're here to see Oris Lancaster.
What?
And the guards are huffing. They're like, "This is highly unusual." Oh, whoa. And then Tyrion says, "Well, you wouldn't want to keep emissaries of Stormhaven waiting, would you? You should let us through." And the guards do eventually relent and let you all through with Tyrion.
Did you just need an excuse to get into your own house?
After him hawing. Do you ask him that out loud? In
Yes.
earshot of the guards? Or
No,
do you
not
wait
in
a
each
bit?
of the guards. I'll wait a bit.
Okay. So you come across this like huge lawn in front of this house. And you walk a couple of feet out of earshot of the guards, and he responds to your question. He says, "Well, I'm not family relationships are complicated. I'm sure each of you have your own stories. And the more wealthy and influential your family becomes, the more complications there are. Let's just say I'm not well liked by certain members of my family."
Why would that be?
He says, "Well, you're rather frank, but
That's how I do.
what he would say, because they don't view me as a Lancaster because I don't use the magic that Lancasters are famed for.
What magic are they famed for?
Fire.
I mean, can't wizards like choose whatever thing they want? Like, couldn't you just choose fire?
He gives a smile and says, "Who said we were wizards?"
Oh, that pin. You're at least a shit one. Well, better than me, but not great.
Well, if we're to, well, let's think about this. They say that they're practiced in fire magic. They all appear to be a family. That would imply that they're also not. Well, they're not wizards. They are a family. Something's in their blood. I would hazard to say that you're all sorcerers of the draconic variety.
How astute of you. Wow,
And
so
he's not a dragonborn, right?
this individual in front of you is not a dragonborn. He looks to be human. The only thing strange about him is he has red eyes, which is a strange color for humans to have. How familiar... I don't think anyone here is a draconic sorcerer, so I don't know how familiar you would be with them.
No, I'm not. But I mean, given what you know about my backstory, could I make some sort of check?
Yeah, you could give me... You can give me an Arcana check, I think. This is magic-based.
Decent, 14.
Yeah, that's good enough. So, similar to Dragonborn, you're not exactly the offspring of a dragon. You were created by magic, and stuff like that. So were, as Alistair brought up, are draconic sorcerers. And while they don't, if you remember correctly, while they're not as obvious about it like Dragonborn are, they do exhibit some sort of manifestation of their ancestry, whether it be maybe scales on their body, or their eyes, or maybe they have their hand maybe more claw-like than normal. Maybe even wings or something like that. But it's not as obvious as a dragonborn, and you don't see any of that on him.
I have a frank question for you, and you can say no if this is a bit too forward. I notice your eyes, they kind of look draconic-like. Would you be willing to take off your shirt for a second?
Okay.
Well, a little
Now, while his eyes are red, they're not slits; they're normal pupils.
Okay. But just...
He says, "Well, that is quite a bit forward. I don't know you that well enough to disrobe in front of you. I'm sorry.
I'm not asking you to disrobe entirely. Just asking for your shirt off. That's all I'm asking.
This will be a difficult. You can persuade him because he is friendly towards you, but this will be a difficult persuasion check.
I'll try, but it's probably not going to go well. Nope.
Yeah, he says. He laughs it off as a joke. He says, "Buy me a drink first."
We'll think about that.
Right. So
kind of wink at him later. So
we have some matters to discuss about the
Yes,
Norrapi.
I saw. I mean, I assumed you were emissaries based on the livery of your cart. I mean, why else would people decked out in mithril and be traveling to Odessa?
Right. Well, we do seek an audience with whatever, nobles that don't have us, any reigning members of influence in the city, we have some unfortunate information to pass on. And
He holds up a hand when you say that. He says, Oris will probably want to hear this. My uncle.
I see. Well,
So, can I ask, who? My knowledge of your city isn't the greatest, I'll admit. But what I do know is it's run by, a small council of families. Is there any one particular figurehead of your family that does these decisions?
He does a grimace at that. He says, he sighs. That long sigh. He says that would be my father, Lord Arden Lancaster.
Okay, I guess he's probably not a big fan of this Boris guy either.
Oris is his brother.
Boris.
So I'll type their names. So Arden, Tyrion is the person you're talking to. I already typed that. His father is Arden. Oh, not that. Arden. And that's his uncle.
Okay.
He says, my father is a traditionalist. He looks at the silver people and the bronze ranked, because he won't even deign to meet with you if your rank is not sufficient. And
what counts as sufficient then?
For families such as ours, it's generally gold or higher.
Gold or higher.
does that imply that your father won't meet with his own son?
Oof.
He says,
We
just met and you're really twisting the knife in, aren't you? He says, yes, my father and I are not on speaking terms.
Big yikes from Slizik there.
Deeply unfortunate.
Yeah, it's
If news, I only came back because my uncle sent me. He's worried about my father. He's acting erratically and has become more withdrawn over the past couple of months.
So is this, and I point to a star, just a disguise?
Oh, his silver pin that he has? He says the Lancaster family doesn't, at least if my father is concerned, the main branch doesn't consider me part of the family, and so I have to present myself as a visitor would if I wish to gain entry into the city.
That's pretty shit.
Yes, I believe the term is black sheep of the family.
I called it.
But are you not of the gold standard or higher?
I'm a 5-star man.
He does regard you now, Aja, and he says, it's rank silvers are generally, they don't attract much attention if you're willing to move about the city. You can access all types of places, whether it be the slums, the trade district, the noble district. People won't really raise eyebrows, but if a gold were to go into the less magically inclined areas, it would be noted. There are ways to fool magic if you are familiar with how it is cast or used. I'm sure your wizard friends know this. Your wizard friend knows this very well.
Sure.
How important is this Oris guy? Is he like next in line kind of thing? Is that how this is? It hereditary?
That is a strange question, and is the issue I
Yeah.
wanted you to help me with.
Yeah, I kind of guessed.
But come, we can speak of these matters in a more comfortable setting. Certainly not outside.
Fair enough.
And he is all this while you're talking while walking. The only times you stop is when you ask him a particularly pointed question about his past, and he just stares
Hey,
at
can you
you.
take your
for a
pants off?
second. Like
So you're
close
done
off,
with you, huh?
close off
Gotta
the
check something.
your dad won't speak to you sort of question. All those ones is where he stops and just collects himself before answering you. But he is leading you around the main building. There's this giant, like 3-4 story mansion, huge, very ornate stonework, and he's leading you around that. And you go off and you see, after you sort of go around the side of it, you see a slightly smaller and less ornate, but still very fancy building. And he says this is where the side branch family lives, where my Uncle Oris lives.
Well, let's speak to the man.
And he leads you up to the door and he knocks on it. And then there is, I forgot a brief aside. I forgot to mention this. As you get within as you entered the grounds, like sort of past the gate, so to speak, all those magically inclined, as in you have spell slots. Give me an Arcana check.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that ain't good.
Whew. Well, roll 20 froze.
I could hear someone freezing for a moment.
Brr.
Come on. All right. Wow.
Why? You got man. That is a 2.
Plus 12.
You have a what?
He has expertise.
I have expertise in.
I'm astonished that it's so low considering.
Yeah, me too.
That's what happens when you roll 2. So I'm looking for Erlen's roll.
Can I get a Big Mac?
Might have stepped out.
Erlen, I'll check the Discord.
Now, can Slizik can cast spells because he got an aura?
He
So
did
like-
say spell
He's
slot.
using the magic item's power though, not his own.
Mm.
And this is your magical senses, is what this is.
I mean, Slizza can cast spells, but they're all deadly, and they all involve something, so they're all
Yeah,
deadly.
they're all just wonderful.
Actually, I'll let Slizik do this too, because this is a magical effect, and he's been around enough to sense them.
Okay, if I get this,
He might not be able to do anything about
Let
it, but
us down.
Okay, good.
all right. So let's see. Even a 14 is close enough. So you are the only one. You feel a faint, Alistair, you feel like a gentle breeze almost just brush over your body. But looking down at the grass and the trees, and up at the trees, the leaves in the trees, you don't see any wind blowing. But you just felt a gentle breeze go over you.
So I don't see any effect to this, but I do feel it.
Yes.
Strange. Can I try and determine what that might be? If this is a targeted
That'd be another
spell?
Arcana check.
Oh, that's a 6 this time.
18's still good though. So this is like a. This is like if you're a mage family, this is the Brink's home defense that you'd set up. This is like a modified alarm spell, so to speak, and this breeze you felt was a pulse that it sent out to detect you and maybe not warn, but alert or notify certain individuals that there are persons here.
Front door open.
Front door.
There might be other things included in that, but that's what you get with your Arcana check. It's like there are people not part of the family on the grounds. And that took place, slightly before Slizik started asking, and you all started asking questions to Tyrion. But you guys come across this slightly smaller mansion, and Tyrion has knocked on the door, and there is a pause, and then the door swings open, and there is a truly large individual there. Probably not as large as looks like to be human. Maybe not as large as Alistair, but still like a well pronounced belly. Very large individual, dark hair and beard. Rosy cheeks. A very jolly looking fellow. He is clad in some very nice clothes.
But he's about as tall as Slizik and Erlen.
No, he's around maybe just shy or bordering on 6 feet tall.
Okay.
So he's like a standard, maybe above average human size. But he is on the top of these steps that Tyrion has walked up. So right as of now, at a higher elevation than you, he's taller than you. He's looking down at you. But he has seen Tyrion first because he's first, and he says, "Tyrion, my boy!" And he just lifts him up in a crushing bear hug off of the ground.
What fashion I resemble myself into?
And he goes, "Uncle, you're hurting me."
I just carefully step back.
And he says, "Oh, sorry. I was just overjoyed to finally see you after so many years. Oh, I see you brought friends. Who are these individuals?"
Oh my god.
Well, emissaries of Stormhaven, pleased to meet your acquaintance. I'm Alistair Winthrop Delfontaine.
Erlen.
Slizik.
Dutch.
And of course, Asha.
Asha!
Doesn't want she's hiding.
He gives a bow, and he says, "Pleased to meet you, lords and ladies. The noble city of Stormhaven. My name is Oris Lancaster."
What pins he got on?
He's not wearing a pin. The pin is a sort of the pin is a contraption for visitors. He's wearing gold robes.
Oh, so he's okay.
And he says, do come in, please.
Of course.
Yeah, we comes in.
And you climb the stairs and enter this grand foyer. Chandeliers, brightly polished wooden floors, the works. And he directs you to a side room, which looks to be like maybe a receptionist, a reception area or something. just plush couches, carpeted floors, well lit, natural light, of course, but also magical globes as well.
We're not going to be separated based on. We're not going to be given different seating based on what badges we have, are we?
Why would I do such an outlandish thing like that?
Because literally everything since the second we stepped in here would imply that you would.
Oh yes. Well, he says, well, you are all. I view you as all equals as emissaries of Stormhaven. Would you prefer I use the more traditionalist methods?
No. Because when we did that, he and I point to Slizik decided to carry his rickshaw.
I had to
driver.
carry my driver here.
Oh, that must have been absolutely dreadful.
I say had. I forced him.
Well, to be fair, you didn't have to.
Yeah, I just wanted to win the race. Anyway, it's a whole thing. It's just. Anyways. So why have you assumedly asked your kid here, not your kid, you know what I mean, to bring us in here?
Oh, well, in a moment. First, refreshments.
Okay.
You must be parched or hungry from your long journey from Stormhaven.
Yes, of
I'm gonna
course.
kill for some cheese right now.
Cheese! Yes, a man after my
will do
own
it.
heart. And he claps, and there's a pause, and then you see these trays being brought out. These silver and golden trays, carried out on mage hands, and they are just decked out, resplendent with smoked meats and cheeses. And there is even one with various drinks on it, arrayed for your pleasure. There's one that caters exclusively for those who prefer beer. Another lighter drinks like red wines or white wines, maybe sparkling wines, champagne.
Oh God. I mean,
So-
I want it all.
yeah, get into it.
You can drink your fill. They are coming around to each of you as you sit down in a circular, like clock-like pattern, and they go back to the back room, which you believe to be a kitchen or some sort of larder, and then after a while they come back restocked.
Can I just take the drink tray?
When you try, he says, oh, please don't disturb the mage hands in their routine. They're programmed to work this way. It would mess up the whole enchantment we have going on.
This is pretty cool. I'll just take a large plate of cheese, please. And by saying please, I mean Slizik takes just a plate of cheese.
Yeah. There's another mage hand that offers you all plates, so if you want to just pile food on as well.
I'll pile on some meat, some vegetables.
Yeah, there's crackers and breads, of course, as well.
I'll take some cheese.
With a very serious and kind of severe countenance, Alistair will have a Mai Tai, but rest assured that the umbrella does not mean that I'm going to take it any less seriously.
I've never had a Mai Tai. What is a Mai Tai? Is it rum?
It's like a rum and a bunch of like pineapple juice type stuff.
So that's a mixed drink, and that's not present. But when you bring up the fact that you would like a mixed drink, he says, "Well, say what the ingredients are out loud, and it should be prepared for you."
Well, I recite, of course, the ingredients to a Mai Tai, which everyone knows. No one needs to say it out loud.
I don't know
Naturally.
it either, but
I have no idea.
there's a program to these mage hands, so you need to work like a system does. And so after a while, there is a mage hand that brings out a tray, and on it is a solitary drink, your Mai Tai.
Mm-hmm.
There is no umbrella, but there is a like a wooden kind of like a wizard's staff instead in it,
Ooh.
I
Right.
will.
like a mini one.
A minor illusion, a little top on it, like a little. Yes, where were we? A dire situation.
Yes, of course, but I find it's easier to discuss such things on a full stomach.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you may be aware,
Of course, I know why my nephew Tyrion
He just
is
says that
here.
and starts feasting.
I know why my nephew Tyrion is here, but why are we graced with the presence of such well-respected individuals such as yourself this day?
well, as you may be aware, the Norathians have mobilized and begun a expansionistic territorial campaign and have been slaughtering people, innocents, all in their wake.
Oh, well, I always knew King Straya was not a pleasant individual, but this is strange he would go so far.
We believe there to be foul magics involved, unlike any that's been seen before.
And that found he gets very serious. Then he was congenial, jovial even, in talking with you. But when you discuss, you bring up this topic of foul magic, he says, he begins to stroke his beard and say, "Do tell me more."
So it became apparent that as we were helping the dwarves, that underneath their mountain city, there were foul magics at work with very strange creatures. I suppose you could call them. They're like, imagine a squid's body on a man's torso.
I have to be honest, I don't like the mental image.
No, I just needed it. They are quite magically capable, and they appear to have been able to control the minds of tens of thousands of orcs altogether, and had them besiege these dwarven mines. They had found a substance that was capable of amplifying magical ability, and they desperately fought them for it, and only just able to curtail that.
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be anyone who's actively paying attention and not stuffing their face, or maybe taking a more measured approach in eating.
10.
10 is not great. 19 is a lot better, though. You notice that there is you recognize this gleam, Aja, in his eye. It is a person. He'd almost fooled you. Almost fooled you to thinking he was maybe one of the few non-assholes wizards or mages of Odessa. But when you bring up this item that can increase magical power, there's a strange gleam in his eyes that you're familiar with. And he says, Do you happen to have this item that can increase one's magical ability on you?
We had gotten a piece of some that was corrupted by these creatures. The others that we had to use in the fight to destroy it, but we did have a piece of corrupted. It's called Arya's Tears. And as I slept in the night in my Galder's Tower, it burrowed into my chest, and tentacles began to feast upon me. Yeah. Now, it was one of the most horrifying moments of my entire life, and it took all of the members of this party and everything they had in them to extract these creatures and their bits that were left inside me, and then, furthermore, a dispel magic from someone in town. horrific business.
He looks a little bit sad that this item is not in your possession. Oh, I see.
But,
That must have been horrible.
Yes, truly. However, I believe the mining operations are continuing, and they will be used to further the war effort. Now, we have come here to unite the city-states together in battle. We've hit various ones on the way here. We've gone through Rydal, we've spoken to the dwarves, we've, of course, Stormhaven. There have been some, hurdles on the way, but we have succeeded in getting most everyone on the same side. And that's why we're here today. We need this place, their magical abilities, their knowledge for both research and combat to face off against these monstrosities.
And this is to do with the army lines that have been drawn a few 100 miles from Odessa.
That's right, they're nearly at your doorstep.
Yes, we heard reports, but we just assumed it was a small skirmish. They have not yet technically intruded on our lands, so we were going to let it slide. But is there anything else about Norath that has fueled their expansionistic tendencies that I should be aware of?
New weaponry. A unique bit of engineering. I suppose it might be a little bit unpleasant to demonstrate.
Remember, you have these on your person.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have the same gleam when we talk about the weapons?
No.
You see in the corner, you see Arlen look visibly shift uncomfortably as she's like leaned up against like the wall, like they are gathering something up in the Dragon Tooth Mountains.
What's this now?
This was when I was working for. This was when I was working as part of a spy unit. We were tasked with exploration. Set up a base camp, as it will, for an excavation.
And when you mention that you used to work for Norath, you get a sense of, it's a brief sense of your battle-honed senses, so to speak, a brief sense of hostility from Tyrion, and he sort of moves in a position to protect his uncle.
You see a hand go to a hilt, go to hilt for sword. Look. Obviously North has no more use for me. Why would I be with these people? Why would I have any interest with working them anymore? Why would I have any interest in working with North anymore? They left me to die, and then covered up the fact that I never made it back on from my operation.
Oris puts a hand on Tyrion's shoulder to calm him and says, I don't exactly know about your circumstances, friend, but the fact that you travel with these individuals and you are recognized by Stormhaven itself lends some credence to your story.
I'm not looking for credence. I'm just looking right now. looking for a new purpose. That's all I am.
He strokes his beard. And says, so you're saying that do you know the source of these foul magics that your friend mentioned?
No,
Any insight you can give us?
I was captured, held for months. Some sort of cult, I believe it was, kept me in my unit, put me around in a magical circle, tortured us for days. Eventually found a way to break from that hold. And it left me with this, and I conjured some eldritch magic in my hand. Conjured some eldritch energy in my hand for a second.
All right. You see, when you make that magic, you see Tyrion's, like a gleam go over Tyrion's eyes. But Oris is studying you intently, and he says, most interesting.
Whatever it did also left me much more keen with a sword than I thought I was. I was never the combative type until this happened.
A magical ritual that confers magical abilities on those not born with it or have studied it, as well as martial prowess. Most interesting. We will have to discuss this further. Is this practice widespread in the Norathian military? Perhaps this combined with these new weapons?
No, this was, as I said before, some sort of cult.
I see.
We were, like I said, we were abducted. My whole unit was abducted. We never heard of rescue for months. Most of them died. I think I was one of the few survivors to make it out.
I see, so it's, while tragic, a separate affair. I'm trying to present, I'm going to be presenting the case. I've heard your words and I'm convinced of them. Truth be told, I was worried about these battle lines being drawn so close to the city, and your words about Norathian aggression seem to ring true, and I'm trying to build a case to convince the other noble families that we should act. That's why I'm asking you all these questions. About their capabilities, about any motives they may have, a driving force, an agenda, new weaponry, magics, that sort of thing. Any bit of information may be useful to convince the council, the conclave to move.
Look, I'll be willing to perfectly testify. Whatever they've done to me, the Norathian military doesn't want me to come back with. They've declared me dead when I try to return home. So I have a suspicion that if I return home, whatever I know dies with me.
And he says, I might have you do just that. I might have all of you. If you've experienced any of these events firsthand, testify before the conclave in order to lend credence to your words. He says, but we'll need time. I am not the head of the Lancaster family. So while I have some influence, it is considerably less than my brother. I can call a conclave meeting, but it takes time to set up and prepare. Anything else you would like to tell me? I'm very busy soon. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
I'll tell more when I'm allowed to testify.
All right.
I should mention these creatures. They appear to be from a world that is not here. Something strange, alien. So there's no telling how many of them there are.
Interesting. You see him, he's taking mental notes of this. He doesn't have a notepad, but he's comprising a list in his head. I'll be sure to mention that. And then he says, well, I must be off. I will endeavor to create or call a conclave meeting as soon as possible. But like I previously said, it will take some time. You are welcome to stay at my place. Any friend of Tyrion is a friend of mine. So you're welcome to stay here while you are in the city. I don't know exactly how long it'll take to set this meeting, but you will be notified when it is ready. You will most likely be called to testify, so be prepared for that.
Understood.
Well, I'll be off. Got a lot of work to do ahead of me. It's a pleasure meeting you all. And he, whereas before he bowed to you, this time he goes to each of you and shakes your hand. He said, look forward to working with you in the future. As he is leaving, he says, oh, Tyrion, by the way, Gwyn will want to see you. She's in the back in the midst of training. And then he leaves.
Well, that seemed to go all right. Hopefully, we won't get so difficult a reception with the father.
Yeah. And to that, Tyrion says, Oris has always been more pragmatic than my father. He's in the minority of this city that even if you don't have, even if you're not the greatest mage of all time, or even if you lack magical ability altogether, doesn't mean you can't affect change in the world.
That's true. Very true.
He says, well, I'm going to go see Gwyn, and then we can talk later, unless you'd like to come.
Well, no, it's all right. Suppose we should prepare a little bit for this next meeting, then. Are we to assume that only the Golds are going to be able to speak with him?
Oh, you want to see Arden?
Oh, yes.
So this is me saying that, not Tyrion.
Okay. I thought we were going to eventually.
Tyrion says, Oris has my uncle has enough influence to set up a meeting on his own without consulting my father. He won't like it, but there's not much he can do about it. Oris is still technically a Lancaster.
Well, I suppose, can only hope that the meeting with the rest of the families was as cordial.
He says he looks at Daksh and Alistair. He says, the Belleron family will love you too. I'm not sure about the others.
Right.
Why not? We're a fucking delight.
Of course you are, Lady Aja, but in terms, I meant in terms of magical ability.
I would more
It's-
than happily vouch for my companions,
it's-
regardless.
It's generally the standard they hold here.
So there's no ability that we can get whole Slizik here up to a silver. There's no way that we could bend rules just a tiny bit to get him to a silver.
He says, well, once you know how a spell is constructed, it is easy to fool if you possess a magical ability yourself. It's extremely difficult to fool a magical spell without possessing at least the same ability as the person who cast the spell. Slizik here seems to have some divine intervention in his life, which is granting him these quasi-magical abilities, along with his plethora of magical items.
Well, that's what's mostly helping him. He's not always this smart.
Without those, he would have not gotten a bronze at all. He would have gotten a steel.
Oh, fair enough then.
Anyway, I'll be off to the back to see Gwyn. You guys, someone will show you your rooms. Of course, you're free to stay here and sample the food and drink we have. Don't worry about cleanup. The mage hands and unseen servants will do that themselves once you leave the room.
Well, thank you then.
Yes. Thank you for your hospitality.
All right, and he leaves. What do you guys do?
I was so busy eating cheese, I missed the last part of that conversation. What happened exactly?
So basically,
We're trying to sneak you in.
so right now, are you talking about what was happening right now?
Yeah, I had to take a call for work. I kind of
Yeah.
missed.
Okay. So Tyrion is leaving to go to a back room to meet a person called Gwyn, who is in the middle of training. He asked if you were interested in following him. I think the general consensus was no. So he said you feel free to stay here and eat and drink to your heart's delight. Don't worry about cleanup. The mage hands and unseen servants will handle that. He says a person will be by to show you to your rooms, though, once you do decide to leave the room.
Okay, what time is it?
It is probably 1 to 2 p.m.
Okay. I mean, was there something else we wanted to get done during the daytime? Also, did we end up... What did that guy want? I had to take a long call there. I apologize.
Oh, you're talking about way, way back. Okay, so Oris...
Yeah, but like we were...
You were talking to Oris about getting his help, or the Lancaster family's help, in allying the city of Odessa against
What do you want?
Norath. He realized the severity of your claims, and sort of maybe he had his own suspicions, and your words merely confirmed what he believed. But he took what you said to heart. But he needed information and evidence from you so he can present it to the ruling families, which he called the conclave collectively. He said he can call a meeting, but it'll take some time because he's technically not the head of, while he has a position of power in the Lancaster family, he's technically not the head of it. But he said he'll take some time, he'll set up a conclave meeting, all the families will be there, and then he and you will present your case to nobles there, and then they will decide if they move or not. You'll each be called, probably each of you will be called to testify.
Oh boy. Slizik in court.
He just mainly said your experience with the depravity of Norath, these strange magical things that are going on with them, their new weaponry, that sort of thing.
Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, unless we have something else to do, it's party time for old Slizik. No one, nothing.
Nope.
All right, let's fuck party down. At 1 to 2 day drink.
All right, you give me get day drunk.
Day drink.
All right.
Day drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Day drink sounds good. Day drink sounds very good right now.
It was a long trip.
So how long do you guys want to take in here? You do get progressively drunk and full. It's just the nature of the room. The longer you stay in here.
I'm just looking to get a bit buzzed. That's all I'm looking for right now.
All right.
My fella's just eating some brisket.
I mean, I have my proper food. I mean, I have food, good food, but I'm not gonna get sloshed drunk.
Oh, fuck, I want some brisket now.
Yep, brisket.
As you guys are eating, who has a passive perception of 14 or higher?
Would that me?
Let's
see here.
No.
I think Alistair might be the only one who has this all beat.
All right.
He's observant.
Alistair,
I got a 21.
what third level spells do you know?
Jesus.
Yeah.
So I don't know slow or dispel magic yet. I just have the scrolls. So that I have Tiny Hut, Galder's Tower, Fireball, and Counterspell.
All right. The passive perception was to hear a sound, and that sound
Fireball.
you heard was Fireball.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yep. All right. It's Fireball. That's a Fireball. That's fine. That's
And
Fireball.
it sort of shakes the house briefly, and it was coming from the back.
Okay. Go time. Go. Everyone. Ready?
Oh my god, I'm so drunk.
Wait, hold on. And I just take the giant swig of my nice wine.
Yeah.
Before you leave.
Let's go.
Splitting.
You know what? Just good. I just grab a bottle of wine as we leave. I just grab the whole bottle as we leave.
I'm going to hit every. Well, here I'm going to hit Slizik, Aja, and Dawn up with a bless.
Sweet.
Ooh. I'll probably need that.
All right, and you feel this sort of luck, almost this supernatural luck, sort of clothe you.
Like a warm hug.
Yeah, everyone should be at full health unless you
shit.
did something since you came into Odessa that would have caused you to spend a spell slot or got into a fight I was not aware of. Because the dream incident and the incident with Alistair happened during your journey, and you had a long rest since then. Which is probably why you're missing some health, because he was psychically exploding on you while you're trying to remove the thing from him.
Just so it's known, I'm putting up mage armor. I got it.
All right. So Alistair is the only one that knows where the source of this came from, so you'd have to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
I do so.
And he's leading you to the back of the estate, and you come across this sort of wide open space in the sort of smack dab almost in the middle of the mansion, and in it you'd see two people fighting, and it is Tyrion, and there's a red-headed woman there, and they're engaged in a duel of sorts. But it is very strange to look at, because as they stated themselves, or you inferred, they are magic users. They are mages, sorcerers. so they're not good with the punchy or the stabby, generally speaking. But they are sort of how they are fighting. They are combining martial techniques with magic.
I'll just yell out real quick. Tyrion needs some help.
So he had a smile on his face, and he says, and he just stops for a second as because he was sort of engaged in this duel. He says, "Wait, what? No!" And then he just gets beamed across the face with a firebolt.
Nice.
Well, okay.
And he falls down, and the red-headed woman pumps her fist up in victory.
Well, we helped.
And then
What was this?
And then she reaches down to help Tyrion up and says, "I think that's the first time I've ever beaten you." And he says, "Doesn't count."
You just took a fireball to the face. I think it does kind of count at this point.
Oh man.
He was distracted.
No, it was a glancing blow. We weren't fighting to kill. A few burns are to be expected in training in the Lancaster household. Oh, where are my manners? Of course, this is my cousin, Gwendolyn Lancaster. I believe my uncle referred to her as Gwen. Gwen, this is, and then he introduces all of you to her, and then she bows to you. And she says, "Thank you for taking care of Tyrion."
That's how we do. We didn't do much.
Pleasure's ours, if we may so claim it.
Who
So-
here? Erlen and Slizik. Sorry, I'm looking at the goblin face, and I'm trying to rationalize it with a draconic boy.
Oh yeah, sorry. But
And so I'm like,
Forgot to
that's totally Gideon. Why is his name Slizik?
Whoops.
But yeah, so Slizik and Erlen, as she gets close to you, she's breathing heavily, coming down from that that exercise high, and you see her cheeks are flushed, and as she sort of greets you and bows to you, you see the telltale sign of there is very faint, but you think you almost see scales on her hand. But she looks to be human.
What color are the scales?
They are gold.
You see, child, having interesting skin condition going on there.
She gets a mallow.
When you bring it up, she sort of clasps her hands together to hide it. Says, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't."
Yeah, how dare you?
No. And try to take her hands like, look, don't be afraid of your scales.
Yeah, I got them everywhere. Look.
Then scales should be something you should be proud to show off. Not have to hide.
He's to that she says things are a bit, how would she phrase this? There's a reason why she's hiding them, and I'm trying to think of how she would say this. She says, normally yes, but things are a bit different here in Odessa. The fact that knowledge is power, and the fact that we have draconic blood in our veins is a well-kept secret. So, flaunting it in public or to outsiders is generally forbidden.
So did Oris have the same sort of scaling, or could we not tell?
He was wearing very ornate robes, long robes, so you couldn't really tell. She's wearing more, loose and sparse clothing for like freedom of movement.
So why don't you and Taryn look related?
Oh yes, I forgot to describe her better. So, and Tyrion as well. So they generally have tan skin. The Lancasters you've seen have tan skin, and their hair tends to be a brown, shades of brown. Oris's is brown. Those guards you saw were a light brown. Hers is red, which is technically just kind of an offshoot of brown. Whereas Tyrion is pale and has black hair. Also, their eyes of the Lancasters are golden, and his are red. So there's some disparities there, which is what Aja is mentioning. And Gwen looks to Tyrion when you say that, Aja, and he says, "That's a sensitive topic, but I suppose a necessary one that must be brought up. If I am to ask for your help, he thinks for a second, and he says, he looks at Alistair and Daksh, and let's say he looks at Erlen too, based on what you just told him, and he looks at Aja. What the heck? I'll look at Slizik too. He looks at you all, takes you all in, and says, "How familiar are you with secret arcane rituals?"
Very.
Well,
I'm something of a scholar.
I mean, one to infuse a body with power, or even
Firsthand.
You know what?
Very, very first-hand experience.
maybe even one that, and then he pauses for a second, creates life.
Oh.
Not lie. No, not
The
familiar
wrong
with that.
character.
That's quite a quandary you're mentioning there.
That's quite different.
Go on.
And then he says, well, let's just say I was... born is a strong word. I was made using less than natural means.
I see.
And, due to those means, I am unable to use the Lancasters' signature fire magic, which is why I'm viewed as an outcast, and why my father doesn't consider me to be his son.
Why were you made?
And that there's a rise. Ironically, my father made me
Okay.
a clone of himself. Or
That's
maybe
really weird.
Maybe you're more familiar with the term somac. I'm gonna butcher it. I can't say the word.
Simulacrum?
Yes, simulacrum or
Absolutely
homunculi.
not. But this ain't helping me at all. I get where you're going. I think you got me with clone. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That was probably the easiest.
He says, he looks at Daksh, and he says, your magic is uniquely sourced. How are you the first in your line? How familiar are you with where your power comes from?
You care to expand on that statement? I would just like to make sure that I'm answering as accurately and tactfully as I can.
You possess magical talent, but I believe it's more akin to our families than a learned man like Alistair's, seeing there's a lack of spellbook on your person.
Well, I should.
I'm not you. While you are not of, doesn't look like you appear to be of a. Sorry, butchering words. While it does not appear to you to, while it does not appear that you are of a draconic lineage, this might be news to you or pertinent to you. Blood runs thin after several dozen generations. It needs to be any bond you have with a patron or those responsible for your magical power. If it is passed down in your offspring, needs to be renewed, lest you lose your magical ability altogether.
I see.
And that crisis is what is befallen and is the great secret of the Lancaster family.
It's quite a difficult disposition to be in. Sorry to hear that.
And he says it's the reason why my father is using strange magical means to make clones of himself in an effort to stave off the inevitable. And it's why we've taken a step back from social events and in the city, and our influence has waned. And it's one of the reasons why I left the city for so long. By the way, you wouldn't happen to know any ancient golden dragons, would you?
Can't say that I do.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be the first that I tell if I should have.
Technically, you know an ancient silver.
Oh. Huh.
But that was, I think, yeah, Suzlik, Aja, and Alistair met him back in Stormhaven.
Oh, right.
And he says, and it's why Gwen here is viewed by many or enough in our family as the next heir.
I see.
Her magical ability is a fluke. Based on the trend, she shouldn't exist.
No. What's her name?
Gwen.
Ah, right. Which one was Gwen?
Gwen was the woman that was fighting Tyrion.
Yeah, it hit him in the face.
Right, okay.
With a
Sorry.
firebolt.
Yeah.
Does she have like some Zuko shit going on in her face?
No, she looks like just a normal Prince, as in her face is burned like Prince Zuko.
Yes.
So Funny that you mentioned it. There was a scorch mark on Tyrion's face from the fireball, but that has healed itself while you're talking to him. But on her face, it's tan skin. Occasionally, you'll get the glint of a sunlight hitting a scale, but then it will, sort of subside back into the human skin. But it doesn't look like there's any obvious deformities or anything on her. Tyrion says, as he sees you inspecting his cousin, says, I meant, by a fluke, I meant it's a trick of genetics, if you will. She was not created using magical means, rather natural ones.
So I guess she's more accepted than you are?
Yes and no. Like I said, family is complicated.
Yeah.
Oris's magical ability is less than my father's. So and there can only be one head, and so it was agreed upon them that they would have a main branch family and a side branch family. The side branch would support the main branch, but would not be involved in I'm mind blanking, but
Serious
affairs.
shit.
in fights of succession, they would not be involved. They would always be a neutral party. But with the birth of Gwen, enough people in the family believe that perhaps the side branch should be the future of the Lancaster family. And that's not something my father can abide. And it's why he's acting more erratically, why I came back to Odessa, and why I want your help.
Okay.
How do we make that dream a reality here, bud?
He says, well, we do have some time before Oris, sets up the meeting with the conclave, so I thought we could try to talk to my father in the meantime.
Oh, this will be real fun, I'm sure.
No, it won't.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like he's king cunts of this village of cunts.
That isn't... Gwyn does gasp when you say that, but Tyrion just nods and says that's an apt description.
That description in our current company, that would probably not work very well.
I think it's best to stop, infight and strife, the ideologies of the side family and the main family are so different now. I think it best if we split the families.
Oh.
Entirely. So
I mean, like a permanent kind of solution to this issue?
it's the only one I can think of that doesn't end in violence.
Oh, we were on different pages there.
Well, it might still be violent.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Well, I will aspire to see to it that it's not. It's not a terrible notion. Sometimes these sorts of divisions are necessary to maintain the peace.
Yes, and while I have many reasons to loathe the man, I still view him as a father figure, strange as it may sound. And so I don't necessarily want him dead. And if we can extricate ourselves peacefully, I think that'd be for the best.
You missed the call.
Spam. And how do you advise we articulate this?
Well, my father won't be coming out to meet you or Oris. So the only really option we have is to go meet him.
Oh, goodness.
Um,
I mean, anything we should know before going into this? Also, are we just gonna walk in and say, hey, like, we're planning on splitting the families? Also, you're out.
I mean, if you you maybe you're not familiar with Odessa politics and noble families, but if you have any ideas other than this, I'm willing to listen.
I mean, there's a lot of broken kneecaps involved, but I have one idea.
While
I think
the idea of everyone's kneecaps being broken is intriguing and
Yeah,
concerning, do go on.
the logistics alone.
But it is a non-lethal.
Technically, yeah.
Also, you technically don't need your kneecaps to cast Fireball.
Oh, what a shit wizard. Um, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe the hands. I mean, I just don't see this meeting ending. Like, yeah, you're right, kid. That I cloned for myself and also hate. You're right.
I mean, we could just alter time. Though, granted, I
What?
mean,
Can you do that? That's not fair.
it's
You would need the power of the aspects to alter time on such a scale, friend. Or even be an aspect.
I mean, I come from a particular background, so perhaps one of you folks from Odessa or any of the others could shine a light. This almost certainly seems like it's going to end up with like a house war. Like,
Yeah,
right? Am I
it is.
insane? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
He
wanted to-
says-
any choice is going to end in a house war.
If
Let's
it
just accept that
does,
fact.
either way, it's inevitable. At least this way, there's a chance for peace.
But we're also giving up our opportunity to get the upper hand. If we make the first move, then we have a better chance.
Oh, here's a suggestion: we just pay attention and throw the first rock when absolutely necessary.
I guess it's worth a shot. I just
So
have
you,
a feeling
you
we all know
suggest
how
we
it
go into my father's mansion, fire spells blazing, and wielding
No, hammers.
arms and mystical weaponry, and just going cracking kneecaps and busting hands open until we reach my father, and then we do the same to him. Talk to
Man,
him.
you are smarter than you look. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, and what's to stop him from later immolating you when once he recovers?
You're right. You know what? Addendum to the plan. We break his hands as well.
Friend, can we maybe not do it this way?
I just
Seems like we would have the entire city's guards upon us very quickly.
yeah.
I mean, the best decision would be to just break his hands and rip out his throat, but that's a little too.
Okay, now we're talking.
Okay,
I just-
let's say we do it your way. We go in
Right.
there peacefully. We try to make nice. What are the chances he fireballs our asses anyway?
Yeah, we are openly admitting
Well,
rebellion.
then we can have
basically.
our contingencies.
He
Oh, look,
says, I would put it 50-50. Maybe
Okay.
maybe 44-60 against.
Well, look at
There's-
it this way: we have the ability to counterspell. At least some of us do.
He's a
so
very
we'll be-
proud man. He has no love for the side branch. He views them as inferior. He may be willing to do away with this altogether.
Yeah, almost certainly, right? Because we're saying, "Hey, fuck you. We're getting rid of you." So why are we doing this?
He says maybe in not so crass a crass way. But I mean, he would still maintain the Lancaster name and the prestige and the privilege it carries.
Right.
We would choose something else. We might not even be a part of the oligarchy anymore.
Well, this is where this is an issue because we're here to deal with the leaders of this place. So we're not here for some clan war.
That's true. Even without the Lancaster name, my uncle has enough connections to be able to call a conclave meeting.
I'm
more worried about the fallout. I mean, if we do this thing, I mean, there are guards. There's the entirety of the city that come down upon us.
This is also something to consider.
Something
about,
to consider, yes.
What if we attack his reputation?
Yeah. Do some.
Interesting. How so?
You tell me. I mean, clearly he's not on the up and up. He, created you through undesirable magic.
Ooh, blackmail.
That's a very good yes. Now we're thinking.
Okay. Hear me out. All right. I know, Slizik, you're not gonna like this, but if we employ Nessa with our good friend Dox here, he unless Doc, can you cast the enhanceability spell?
Why, yes. Yes, I can.
You could do that upon yourself. You're better at talking. She could still give you a bardic inspiration with the little songs that she does or whatever, and you could try and intimidate this fellow.
Well, I have been told that I can be rather scary. What do you think, Slizik? Do you think I'm scary?
Terrifying, yes.
See, it works. Gentle as a lamb, but the teeth of the wolf.
Tyrion is thinking this over. He says that is a viable option. Well, he says you are gold, so he will actually listen to what you have to say.
Well, does anybody suggest some specific choice words?
But you'll need something to back up your threats with. Otherwise, he'll view them as empty.
What about a simple detect magic on you? Would you have any of that kind of thing left over in you? Any of that help?
So you're trying to blackmail him with him using these strange magics. Maybe not altogether wholesome, right? Who would you tell?
The other families.
People on the streets.
This is the DM asking.
Not we would tell the other families, council of this guy who's like part of the house and this kind of diminishing. He's already got diminishing reputation. This would be like a killing blow to the rest of that. It's like, oh, now and he's used this forbidden dark magic, and I suppose the way we'd prove that. I don't know. You could ask the son to step into the little detector thing, or maybe detect magic, see if there's anything left over.
Because that can work. I generally try to hide it, but I suppose that could work.
As long as you're not going to be,
yeah, there's my own
blamed.
Potential to be dissected.
Would they do that? Oh, well,
they would do a lot in search of more power.
Great. Love this place.
Well, what if we name you as a protectorate or a protected citizen under Stormhaven? You would be a refugee, a valuable citizen who is now under the protection of Stormhaven as part of the war effort, and interfering with you is a war crime.
Interesting. You all have a way of words that escapes me.
I am a poet.
Could I ask you something then?
Please
Yes.
take your shirt off.
I'm still not going to do that.
No. If you decide to completely abdicate yourself from your family, where does that leave you then? Where does that leave you with the ability to at least make something for you to be able to have a life that's worth living?
I haven't thought about that yet. I'm more... Huh. I know in the longest time, I've just been searching for an ancient gold dragon to make another pact with. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose I would still do that. Because technically it's still needed. This is just a way to resolve our family issues.
Stormhaven has need of good people.
But after that, I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Having an objective is one thing, but having an objective and then no purpose afterwards is not something that you want to live through.
There's the fallout of that objective. It's a reasonable concern.
And he seems to be taking your words to heart, Ireland. He says, I see you're speaking from experience, and I will ponder such things.
I mean, is there anything else you know of that we could use to blackmail your dad? Anything extra would be helpful as well.
Well, I don't wish to divulge the Lancaster family is weakening, or has weakened
It's just
over
your
the
dad.
years. If we could focus on him using dark and forbidden magics, that would be great.
Let's do
Otherwise,
it.
it might negatively impact.
Or we could try something a bit unorthodox and try to dilute your family name by getting you politically married.
Jeez.
You want me to marry into another noble family, or Gwyn to marry into a noble family of Odessa?
Easy as that. It's really simple.
Yep.
Yes,
Well,
of course.
Erlen would know.
Let me just call upon all the noble families that we have such great relationships with.
Alan, why does every second plan of yours involve someone getting married?
It's a bit easier to work through.
He says, I suppose I could be...
There's a lot. There's a bit of a darker purpose, but that's probably something we shouldn't say in our current company right now.
I mean, I suppose I could try to be inducted into the Belleron family. I would probably make it in. I'm like 95% certain I would.
Do you suppose that if he were to be found in a compromising situation, or perceivably found in a compromising situation of some sort, that this could affect his standing, some kind of scandal, if somebody looked a tremendous lot like him and did something unsavory?
I see where you're going with this. I don't want to harm any innocent people.
Oh no, nothing of that sort. I mean, in fact, the deed that would be controversial, but the right amount of controversial is of your decision, if you have any such deed in mind.
Like a level of infidelity.
My father is not married. His wife passed away before I was born.
Some variety of clandestine dealings, of the non-violent sort, of course. Perhaps trading in some substances that would be unsavory to the officials of Odessa?
He says, we do, because of how mages need to be conscious and aware of reality so that they may shape it to their will. We generally dislike mind-altering substances. Drugs, you may call them. So maybe if he was caught dealing in those...
That's surface. I mean, like, just like any city, there is a good deal of, people will do it.
Now, I would need a way of attaining his likeness.
I go quickly into my satchel and or my bag, and I pull out the half dose of fury that I still have. We gave one half dose to Slizik to see what the effects would be, and I still have this half dose here.
Oh, we have way more than that.
We
We
have
have so many
much
drugs.
more.
You have so many drugs on your person. He says, his eyes go wide when he sees that. Says, keep that bottle stopped. What are you crazy?
Yeah, get rid of it. Inhale it. Give it to me.
No, let's not be quick here. What is to say, if I could be convincing enough in my appearance to seem like him, in possession of an item of this sort, how do you think that might affect things?
Well, it wouldn't be good for him. He says, of course, you'd have to explain why he's in public after all of these, months of being a recluse. But I mean, maybe him engaging in illicit affairs is why.
Indeed.
But it would certainly tarnish his reputation.
What tools are present in Odessa for, at least for a passerby, to determine that somebody is not actually who they are masking themselves as being? What tools are available for this?
He says, well, I'll tell you right now, a disguise self is probably off the table. Most guards or influential people will be able to see through it. So you'd need like makeup, wigs, that sort of thing to pull this off. As far as where you can purchase those, I mean, they're not in common supply in the in normal shopkeepers, but maybe someone
Surely a bard's college.
a bard's college may have such a thing, or the slums. You might find some people there that have put together such kits and are selling them.
Costume shops in the slums.
We don't need to purchase those.
Let's say
I have it on me.
Oh,
I actually have.
You've got one.
I take out my disguise kit.
Isn't this something?
We wouldn't need to purchase one. I have one on me.
Oh, interesting. This solves a lot of problems.
I can do a test run with a couple of tricks up my sleeve if anyone should be interested.
Well, I mean, I have, of course, I've seen my father. I can describe him to you, and I can tell if you bear a resemblance to him.
All right.
Just think of me, but older, with salt and pepper hair, gray around the temples.
If someone can replicate this, then I can try and make this face onto someone else, and you can wear it like a mask.
That would I would be. Maybe perhaps a mask wouldn't be necessary. Tell you what. If you wouldn't mind giving us a few moments, I think that I can get something together that would be rather impressive to this end.
All right.
I
If
can
you have
also
any other attendant details, give me as much detail as you can as to his countenance. Write this out so I can meditate on this, and I think I may be able to have some tricks, some items that can give me exactly what we need.
I can
Gwen
also
pipes in.
force
An angry face. He's always scowling.
Ooh, those
I
are
can
fun.
also forge some documents that way it looks like you are the real thing, even in paper.
Huh. This is even better. Although I don't imagine being seen, someone's going to look for our papers. They just have to see him in this situation, wouldn't they?
Yes, I think
Paper.
paperwork, while maybe presenting yourself in official capacity, would be good. If he's going to be engaged in illicit affairs, it'd be very suspicious if he had identification on him stating, I am Arden Lancaster. Here is my identification. Please arrest me.
Tell me, is your voice decidedly similar to his, or what variations should I be aware of?
He says it's deeper and more gravelly.
Can I
So
also
you
ask,
would say like this.
like
Yes.
things like skin on the arms or
Ah, yes.
body
He bears
features?
the stereotypical Lancaster skin tone. It's a tan. I mean, Gwen here could be a model. Brown hair, golden eyes.
Any sort of fat or anything?
No, he's always been very thin. Of course, I haven't seen him in a while. Gwen could be more. Oh, he's still thin. Last time I saw him.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then I will look to Daksh, or was it Daksh?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Um, how far does this guy's self go on you? Does it just work on your body, or does it work on your face, or does it work on the entire body?
Well, it would take a little bit of work, but let's just say that I've been trained in some techniques, and I may just have the thing to be the rather infamous party face for this sordid affair.
Then if you can perfect the face, I can make sure that your skin looks close enough to Lancaster skin, and that way if there's any magic, it'll only be detected on your face.
Hmm. This is true. It would be rather
The more
cunning.
subtly you use disguise self, the better, is what Tyrion will say. Because, like I said, most people are adept at seeing through illusions in this city.
Things to consider. Well, let's give this a shot, and if you can tell, having seen him all your life, then I think anybody else that would be rather that'd be my metric to know how convincing I could be.
Yes, Gwen and I can both tell you. And then he says, we'll need a way of getting this to spread. I suppose we could contact. This is strange. They don't really have the news, like a newspaper here. But he says, what would he say? He's like, who do we want to how would we want to spread this information?
Perhaps if he were witnessed by guards doing their routine in a certain area at some time at night, perhaps somewhere they wouldn't
Yes,
expect to see
but
them, but their routine is
he
changed.
possesses enough influence. Arden possesses enough influence that even if someone was, no, sorry, he would say my father. My father possesses enough influence that even if someone pretended to be him and was caught by guards, he could simply use his influence or money to pay them off.
I mean, how's about this? How's about just someone else? Like, let's just say there was a noble with incredibly loose lips.
That was more along the lines of what I was thinking. Someone who is active in the rumor mill of this city.
Do you know who such a person can be?
When he mentions that, Gwen's eyes light up. And she says, not a noble, but a professor at a magical university.
Oh.
He was... She's like, she says, I occasionally go by there to see some friends, and I sat in on a lecture where he talked about, she's like trying to remember, she's thinking, the proliferation of knowledge via printed materials and how to accelerate it. He said he wanted to make something. He was trying to devise an object. What was it called? A printing press. Yes, he was trying to make a printing press.
Oh, sounds dumb.
No, printing press is perfect. I mean, printing press distributes information in a very quick manner.
Well, a printing press, this is new technology. This has never been
Yeah,
heard of.
we have no idea.
Oh, this is something. Okay.
Yeah. Books thus far have been painstakingly written by people.
Oh.
Printing. What?
He said it was a way to make books very quickly.
What?
Let's suppose they can make.
Is it magic?
It didn't seem to be.
Huh.
But we could get his help if we want to. Maybe he can, maybe not like a book, but sheets that we can then, pieces of paper that we can plaster over the city. About Arden Lancaster being caught with drugs by the guard. That way he can't hide it, cover it up. Maybe if we can even have a picture.
And is this something that we should threaten him with, or is this something that we should carry out before the fact?
No, I think this is something we carry out before the fact. If he's blackmailed, then he'll have time to make countermeasures. If you're going to do this kind of thing, you're gonna have to hit it very hard. It's gonna have to come very hard, very quickly, and he has to be very confused as to what's happening.
Valid point.
I agree with Erlen. Maybe this is our opening move, and then when he's off-footed, we present the next piece of blackmail, the dark magic portion.
His reputation will already be in question. Well, perhaps I should take about this disguise before we dawdle too much longer.
Yes, this is, of course, we have to perfect a disguise beforehand.
Out of curiosity, Docs, so I look to Gwen, or I forgot the other guy. I keep forgetting.
Tyrion is the man.
Tyrion,
And
sorry.
Gwen is the woman.
Yeah, so I looked at Tyrion and it's like, well, I looked at Gwen. It's like, and I point over to Doc. Does your father look like kind of like his build then? If that's the case?
Well, you are very tall. You're taller than him. He's around Oris's height, but he's she would say father. She's around father's Oris, and she catches herself. Oris's height. But he's thinner. More like Tyrion in that regard.
I don't think I can convincingly make it thinner or shorter.
All I would need you to do is help me with the wardrobe. I have the rest.
I can help you with skin tone too.
And she's like looking at your disguise kit. She's not touching anything. She's like, you have fancy clothes in there? We can lend you some, or give you some.
I have some fabric, but I don't think I can. Well,
Seems easiest to take the clothes.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
why
offering.
not from the source?
Yeah, I think we're more convincing when you have actual, like, Lancaster livery on your robes.
Agreed.
I mean, surely Orin could help us with that.
Yes. Well, he's busy, but I mean, we have
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in our side branch family that would be around your same build that have robes that could fit you.
It shouldn't be an issue.
If we can retrieve those really quickly, I can get this together, and then I'll have you be my audience.
All right. So we're gonna end session soon, but they run off to get it, and they come back with a robe that they believe will fit you. But
All right.
here comes the check, though. Okay. So you spent this time getting ready. Erlen has helped you, so you have advantage.
Okay.
Tyrion and Gwyn will be your judges.
Guidance.
And you have guidance. So
I
this is
think I
a
still have
disguise
Bless
kit
too,
check.
don't I?
I'm sorry,
Huh?
what?
Don't I still have Bless? How long does Bless?
No,
Oh,
Bless.
It's
Bless
like
is
a minute.
Bless is not for ability scores, I believe. It's for saving throws, attack
Oh,
throws,
good point.
Yeah.
and
but it also only lasts a minute.
I've also got proficiency with disguise as well.
yeah. So you would add. I can be convinced to go with either charisma or dexterity for a disguise kit.
Probably want charisma.
Let's give me that
It's
charisma.
I have charisma, so charisma plus proficiency. Then
Yeah, and then
So-
you have advantage, and you'd have guidance as well.
And this is on deception, right?
Then this is a disguise kit check.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be, if he's proficient, wouldn't it be the same?
Deception to me is more like lying to someone. You don't necessarily need to be.
I just mean numerically.
Yeah, it would technically, but he already rolled an 8. He rolled a 21.
That was Erlen.
So Tyrion hasn't seen his father in a while, but he's like, that looks right. Gwyn gasps though. She's like, you look just like him. Are you an actor? Do you do this for a living?
Why would you speak so insolently to your father?
Well, he's my uncle, but yes. Yeah, so
Thank you. I need to get that part of the act down.
yeah, Gwyn is the cousin of Tyrion. So
I missed
yeah.
step away. That's very important.
Yeah, so the family tree is basically Arden and then Tyrion, and then Arden is brothers with Oris, who is the father of Gwyn.
Okay. Got all that down. Okay. So
But their relationship is more like Oris is, because of how his father dislikes him, Oris is more like Tyrion's father and Gwyn is his sister. Due to their, Arden being a douchebag.
I looked at the action like, remember the most important thing. Be very brief with any questions that are asked to you. The less that they can corroborate detail, the better it is for you in the end.
how should we situate ourselves with this professor?
He says, well, we'll need to contact him saying we have a story. That's what Gwyn says. And that he should be at whatever place you want to have this go down at. So he can take notes.
I could do that, and I could do that and pretend Celia can easily be able to handle that.
She says, Lord Alistair, you have the air of the professor about you. Have you ever taught in Odessa before?
Yes, it was some time ago, yes.
Maybe you might be familiar with colleges and could help us get in. Or and see this professor.
Maybe. Sure.
And then she's thinking, of course, you'll need the buyer or seller of these drugs, too. Is one of you going to play that part as well?
I don't see why not. It's not outside of the realm of possibility.
And then she's thinking, you say you already have the drugs on you. Do you want the guards to show up as well, or do you just want this to be a...
Well, perhaps the guard showing up would work to our advantage, to make it look that much more controversial.
I see. Maybe you pay them off as well, bribing the guards as well as buying illicit goods.
It's pretty good. Pretty
I
good.
like this.
I think we can use our family connections to get guards to patrol a certain route at a certain time.
May just need the coin for this as well. I mean, I imagine that the bribe price would be.
Oh, I mean, Tyrion says he stops her. We can cover that.
Oh, good.
I mean,
This
what?
stops
We're a noble family after all. What use is gold if you don't spend it?
Fantastic.
All right. So you have a plan. You have your disguise. Now all it is further set up and then to enact it. But we'll leave that.
Do the ding dang thing.
We'll leave that for next time. This is not the way I thought this would
Before
go,
that-
but I am delighted to see it go this way.
I thought this went quite well.
Before you go there, it's just like, Dax, do you have any questions on working in the arts of disguise?
Oh, I think I'm quite all right. But thank you.
Yeah, and since you seem so into it, Gwen will suggest that you be the other party in this drug deal, if you want to be.
No, I think right now one person is already putting themselves out there. Let's not try to put too many else out. Let's not try to put too many others out there just yet.
Just to clarify, Plan B is kneecaps.
Plan B is kneecaps, hands, and throat.
Right, we gotta get that through.
Cool.
Oh boy.
You guys better hope that your plan
Remove the
works.
verbal, remove the somatic, and you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, because this plan goes from 0 to 100 the second that you guys fail. If you guys fail.
Just keep that in mind. Remember, we moved to verbal, somatic. They can't use the material, so there's
Yeah.
no. So
I'll
we
just be
moved.
waiting. I'll be waiting outside the guy's door until I see like a flare from you guys saying that, yeah, we didn't quite get it.
Yeah, if you could just like get real good at like just wrapping someone's head really fast.
Gotta go practice.
No.
Oh
It
god.
didn't go so well.
But yeah, I'll end the stream and the recording there. But yeah, that was.
What are we doing?